Hey everybody, and welcome back to Storytime with JRP. We've been continuing our book, Laurence Grey, Secret of the Lost Roanoke Colony, and we're currently in Chapter 12. So if you're just joining us, head back to Chapter 1 so you don't miss any crucial details. So, a brief recap of where we are so far. Laurence Grey and his son Jason discovered a top-secret government website. They were all arrested by the SWAT team, but then Grey escaped, and his son didn't. And so Grey teamed up with his friend Jack Larrabee, but then they were both captured by the FBI. Grey awoke to find himself in a military base, and Jack was not to be seen. And then he ran into General Farragut and General Sheldon, the people who were in charge of this whole operation. So we are going to continue off where their discussion left off from yesterday when Grey found out that he is currently in Area 51, which is the title of this chapter in Chapter 12. Grey sat in confused silence. Was this guy nuts? Intending to say something like, "What kind of idiot do you think I am?" Grey instead weakly offered, "Excuse me?" General Sheldon smiled coldly. "You heard me. And don't bother trying to tell anyone. We already took your phone, and your Bluetooth, and your GPS, and..." "Yes, General, I get it," interrupted Grey. The general seemed tiffed at the interruption, but nevertheless continued. "You're here for a reason, Grey. A very important one. You knowing your location was only to keep your mind off wandering about it, and to keep you focused on your main task." "Which is?" prompted Grey. The general seemed to revel in Lawrence's confusion. "In time, Larry, in time. Let's work up to that point. We have a lot to talk about." General Sheldon turned to the others. "Agents, you are dismissed. Report to me at 2300. All the agents left, so Grey and the general were alone in the room, save a lone bodyguard standing in front of the door. Grey knew it could be a very, very long day. Elsewhere, Jason awoke to find himself in a drab, windowless room, much like the room that Grey awoke in. He turned and saw his dad's friend, Jack Larrabee, on a nearby bed, just like Jason was. "Come on, old man, wake up," demanded Jason as he got out of the bed. "We need to get out of here. Dad's gone, and I don't know where the heck we are." Larrabee barely stirred. Jason rolled his eyes. "Dang it, oldie, we don't have all day." Larrabee got up and stared at Jason in annoyance. "Do you talk to your father that way?" Jason ignored what Jack said, and then mentioned some things to Jack that aren't worth printing in this book. Jack took all of that very well and said, "Look, I know you're a little upset we're being held captive, maybe a little scared. Well, I'm scared too, but we'll get through this together, and I promise you, you will see your dad again." So, that is the end of Chapter 12. Laurence is still trying to figure out what the general has planned for him, and elsewhere, Jason and Jack are still being held captive. So what's going to happen next? Will they reunite? Well, you're just going to have to wait for Chapter 13, which will be tomorrow. All right, guys? I'll see you then.